We're out to find broken, useless websites and give them a purpose to grow your business. In this first episode of Viking Outdoor Web Design, we're going to be putting together a color palette, loading a Divi pre-made layout, and then putting our content into the layout. We may have to create some new sections because we have more sections of content than we do actually in the pre-made layouts. So we're going to go through this process and get our first draft of this web design. So here's their current website, and it's one pager. A lot of things are up to date, like all his photos are out to date. So he wants to get a new website. He wants to make it more robust. So we want to take this website. We've already interviewed the customer. We've got our content. We've got new written content. We've got new photos. Some of them may not be big enough, so we may have to just kind of put them in as placeholders. So there's a couple little challenges, but we're going to do what we can to get started with this today. And so here we go. This is the blank canvas, and we've already looked up his logo and using the color picker, and we've converted over to hexadecimal, and we got his color from his logo, and we put it into the color.adobe.com to get us some other colors to work with. So all we got from his logo was just a gray and this Adobe color here. So those are the only two colors we were able to get. This gives us a few more colors to work with. Looks like we got some chocolates and almost like a little brown color. This is his font, Bohemian Press, that's in his logo. However, it's a very powerful, and you can see here this word create is just like it's really, really dominant. So I don't know that we're going to be using that in the body of the text. I do like this font here. This looks nice, but I found a different font, which I think we're going to use for today, which is just a very simple, this Carios Gothic, this little Gothic font here. It's in the Divi theme, so it's free, it's available. So that's the font that we're going to use. I've already taken all the colors and put it into the color palette, and then also I have found a theme that we want to use. So actually I'm going to exit out of this, and I'm going to start a new page so that we can get the choice of choosing a pre-made layout. So I've already picked out a pre-made layout that I want to use. So we'll do a new page. Okay, so we're going to name our new page just new home page, and we're going to use the Divi Builder. From the three choices on the screen, we're going to use the Browse Layouts. And the layout we want to use is the Pottery Studio. Okay, here it is, and we want to use the home page. We want to use this layout here. I like this one because it has these three little, this section of across the top. So we're going to use this layout. All right, now that we've got our layout loaded, just real quick, so we're gonna start putting in some of the copy, so we can focus on the messaging. We're just gonna start right here with this header. Our theme, so on my other screen I've got our content ready to go, and one of the things that our customer likes to say, this was one of his comments, so we're gonna start with this. Because you can't see anything at night. So Viking Outdoors, they do outdoor living space, including decks and lighting. So because you can't see anything at night, this is one of his favorite taglines. So we're gonna pop that in there, and then we're gonna follow that up with kind of his speciality. So in this little sentence underneath, we're gonna put get an outdoor living space worth experiencing. Put an explanation on that, and then as we go, I got to try to remember to try to change these fonts back to default, and so that we can change them globally instead of having to check each box. So I'm going to change this back to default as well, and then we can change that to the font we want later. So I'm going to save that. So his call to action is going to be a outdoor living consultation. And here, a lot of what we're going to be doing is undesigning. So we're going to get the layout back to the default fonts and colors as much as possible, so that we can change them in our theme customizer. Okay, so we've got this here. We've got the fonts changed back. We got our message in there. I see this background image, so let's see if we can change that image while we're here. See what we have available. Oops. I really like this one of the cabin. I thought it had a really nice feel, but this other one has a very, very grand view of what he does. So we'll just have to see which one works best. The home. This one here looks really nice as well. So let's try this one. It's a full house view. This is just lighting, but I think it's a very good looking photo. Alright, so there, we're going to start with that. That's a good looking header to begin with. Now this little section here, we've got some just some real short blurbs that we're going to put in here. So, you know, a lot of what he does is about you know, outdoor living spaces is about hanging out with friends and having fun, right? So we're going to put in, you know, so maybe we'll put a question mark on it then, no friends. And then we're going to delete these other components. I'll leave that in there. It kind of looks nice. So let's change the color of that while we're here. So we're going to go to our, we should have it saved. Let's see if our colors got saved. So we're going to go down to design, line. Oh yes, and you can see our colors here. So we'll pick this really light color here. And let's make sure that this is, the font on this one is set to H2 and default. So again, this is an H2, set it to default. Then we can delete this. And we're going to delete this button as well. And we'll update the color for the line. We can design, line, then choose our light color. I could even change the background of those. We'll see about doing that in a second here. So here's our third statement, the third column. Set it default. Delete that block. I'm going to update the color of the divider. So we'll go to design, line, choose the color. Alright, that looks very clean. Now these are not our colors that we worked with. They look pretty close. So let's see if we can change those. So this is always a little tricky. So we've got a background color for the whole row, but then we can have background colors for the individual columns. And you can see this one here. So we're going to choose this first one. The middle one's, this one's a gray color, I believe. Or no, actually it's a little bit of a chocolate color, so we'll do that one. And then we'll go to column 2. We'll change this one to the next one. It's more of a red color. And then we go to column 3, and then we go to background, and see, we've got kind of a brown color there. So we've got kind of a gray, red, and a brown. They're all darker colors. And then we're going to change this one to white to match the others. So we're going to go to the settings, design. This is a heading. It's a heading 2. We're just going to change that to white. And we can put questions by all these. So that gets our colors, and we changed all the fonts to default. Now this next section is about, from the layout, is about classes, and we're not doing anything related to that. So, but our next section is really about trying to invite the customer in. So let's see what our next section down. I really like this section here, and I think it but this is a quote here. Expert instructions, but we have quotes down here as well. So I like this section here. It's almost like from the author. So let's edit this section next. So we'll go to the settings, and we'll change our heading here. So it says hiding inside like a hermit crab. So he's a real funny guy. So he kind of likes this humor in his business. So we're going to set that back to default again, and then see, we're going to change that little divider. We go to settings, design, align. We may choose the darker one in this case. And this is not going to be a quote, so it's just a statement. We got a couple little sentences here. So I'm going to put those in there. I'm going to delete the author part. Then we're also going to delete this little quote thing there. But we do want to go ahead and make a call to action here. So we're going to add a button. We're going to leave it with the default color settings because we can change it in the customizer. And again, the call to action is the exact same as it was earlier. Outdoor living consultation. That looks great. And then we're going to change this background image to something that's related. So it says living inside. I don't know if we actually have any inside pictures. So we're looking for something, again, something a little grand. Let's try this back deck picture. I kind of like this one here. All right. So let's move this section up, because it's supposed to go right after the header. The reminders. So now we got a nice flow going. We got our header. We got our questions and our content here. Okay, so the next part is really kind of his authority statement, which about him, about his business, that they're experts. Okay, which he has here. This section says expert instructors. So this is kind of the section that we want to use. So let's go ahead and pull that section up so we can use it next. And the colors match out great. Look at that. Okay, so his witty saying here is it sure is dark out there. So we're gonna put that right here. Dark out there. So this is a heading 2. We're gonna go to design, heading 2, and change this back to default. Okay. And then we're going to change the color of our little divider. Settings, design, line. Choose our color. Okay, and here's his expertise statement. So we're not going to put people in here for his team. So these are, but it might be cool to put some photos of some of his projects in here. So I'm gonna click and add a new module. Image, and see if we can find some little landscape photos. There's one of a fire pit, which is really nice. It shows a little bit of stonework. So we click on the gray plus, type in image, click on the little gear for the image, and let's see if we can find something different now. There's he's a different project. He lit up a pool, which is super cool. And we're going to delete this module above it. We'll go into the third column. So we've got we got a pool and a fire pit. I think a decorator. These are all been night pictures. So let's see if we can find a day feature picture. There's a railing here. Here we go. Become an instructor. It looks like we got another call to action here. So we're going to change this to our consistent column to action, outdoor living consultation. Copy. Then we're going to go to design, and we'll go to the button, and we'll turn off the color styles. All right. Very simple and straightforward. It's looking good. Now the next section is really where we want to communicate to the customer how to get started. So this section, this light colored section, is going to work pretty good. So we'll make we're going to use that same statement as in the header. Again, get an outdoor living space worth experiencing. And then we're going to give them the 3 simple steps to do that. Okay, so we're going to go in and change this heading font back to the default. So design, heading text, H2, default. And then we're going to change this little divider, settings, design, line, choose the color. Okay. So down here we want to use some numbers. We want to use kind of a 1, 2, 3 in terms of steps. But let's also change this color here. This background color. If we go with the light color, I'm not sure I'm enjoying that light color. He says he wants a black website. I do like the way this yellow text box stands out though. So we could create a shade of that lighter color. So there's 25% on that one. So let's see if we can change this one to match. Looks like it's in the background of the column, just in the left column. So we'll go to column 1, background, and then we're going to choose that lighter color. And go to settings and pull the transparency down to 25. Okay, so on this one, it's actually transparent, makes the box go away, so it's going to need to be a solid color. I was thinking we would make this lighter color the button, so That's going to be interesting. We're going to have a color that stands out. It might just have to be white, seeing how he wants the website to be mostly black. So if we keep this Adobe color here, then a white button will work. We just got to change the text to light. So we go to the gear and then go to the filter, and you can type in light, L-I-G-H-T, and there's a text color. You can change it from from dark to light, so it just reverses out the font color. So we can do the same for the other. Just use the filter to search for light, and then use the drop down to change it to light. Okay, so I like that color better there. So let's do this whole section in that same background color. So the whole thing is not black, but it's mostly black in his colors. Okay, so on these 3 columns, we want to make call outs here. We're going to use a blurb. No, I'm sorry. What we want to do is use a counter. So we're going to use a circle counter. Let me delete this other one. Okay, and then we want to change the circle counter. First, we want to get rid of this background color, which may be in the row. So we'll go back to the row settings. Check the background color. There's no color there, so that's good. We'll check the first column. Yeah, that's where it is. There. Okay, and then we can go back to the second column, background, and we can delete that one. Then to the third column, settings, delete the background there. Now we can delete these. We'll save those and delete the other modules. And then we're gonna edit this one, so we want this to be a number. This is gonna be number 1, right? And so the first step in his sales process is to schedule a visit. Okay, this is going to need some more styling. So we don't want the percentage, so we'll turn that off. And we want our fonts, so we'll just make sure that our fonts are set to default again. That's in H3, which is fine, and it's set to default, which is good. And we're probably going to want to adjust the size of these. So okay, so the circle, the highlight color is this greenish color, so we want to get rid of that. And change the circle color. And then we also want to change our number text color. And increase the size of that so that it fills the bubble. That's 100 pixels there. And then back to our title text. It's an H3. See if we can bump it up a little bit more. There's a size 30, but we want it to be a lighter color. But that's too light, so we got to go dark, I guess. Or white. Okay, so we'll do white. Alright, that looks pretty good for start with, so let's add in the other two and see how that looks. I'm going to duplicate this circular module and then drag and drop it to the second column. Duplicate this one and then drag the extra to the third column. Now we can edit the second one. The title is going to be Gather Ideas. And this will be step 2. And then his third step in the process is to get a written plan. So we'll edit the third module, click in the gear, paste in the title, changing the number to 3. So let's delete, just to make this work out, we'll delete the word get, and it'll be a written plan. And that looks pretty smooth. So we could probably do little things like capitalize all those, but we'll leave that for now. Outdoor living and space, I believe, is going to be a keyword phrase for us for his particular work. The only other thing here would be cool is if this had maybe add a little bit of texture. So we're going to go to backgrounds. So this is on the section background. We'll look for background image. I've got this Adobe color here. And let's see if we can change that to like a multiply, or a screen would be better. So, only problem is it washed it out a little bit. The overlay is definitely too bright. So sometimes they just don't come out the way we want them. So let's try gradient instead. See if we can get the colors that we want. I'm going to try this first Adobe color. Then for the other end of the gradient, I'll try the darker color. Looks like they both need to be darker colors. It's not really giving me the effect that I would like to get. The darker color doesn't really match with what I want, but it definitely looks a lot more bold, which is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to leave that for now. I like the boldness of it. Okay, so then the next section is, kind of an explanation of, what he does. Are you frustrated with trying to write content for your website, learn the web design software, and overcome all the technology challenges to get the website launched? We understand what it's like to spend hours writing, designing, and launching a website. Don't waste your time and money on something that you don't enjoy. We can easily walk you through an affordable process of creating a web design with a purpose. You will be stress-free and feel like a successful business person. All you have to do to get started is visit shepherdsloft.com and book a free web design with a purpose appointment. So we're going to need to add a section in between here. Got a nice little alteration of image, color and image, color and with some images, texture. So for this section, It's just going to be very simple and straightforward. So looking for something with the same background color as this. So let's check the background color of this one to make sure we're using one of our palette colors. Looks like that's just black. Or was it? It was a different color. Yeah, it's kind of an off black, which I kind of like it. It's not quite solid, so I'm gonna leave that. It looks like a black. It's just very slight gray. So actually, let me copy that color to my palette. So we're going to do a regular section here. We're going to want probably the previous section was 3 columns. So let's do 2 columns in this section. Let's make the background color that almost black, dark gray. Looks good. We're going to need a title section, so let's add a row for the title. Put it on top. We can click and drag the little move tool to move the row to the top. So this will be heading 2, so that'll step back up. We will change this from dark to light. Okay, so we've been using this divider, so let's make a copy of it and drag it down so we're being consistent. And then I have one additional little sentence I want to add. So sometimes the little dots get in the way of the other dots, so you just got to drag some spacing out there so that you can access the new module, round new module plus button there. So we're going to paste this text in. Again, we want this text to be light. And then we're going to go to our text, make sure it's set to the default. It is. We want to center this text. And then bump up on the size of it because it looks like it's going a long ways. That's a lot of words to go all the way across the screen. So we're going to increase that font size. I always like to just do double digits because it's easier. So there's a 22, and then we'll adjust the line height as well. We can also pull in some padding on the sides. And if you hover over the padding area, there's a little chain link. It's almost invisible on here, but I know it's there. And you can click that little chain link and it'll lock the 2 sides to be equal, and then that can allow you to make further adjustments. So we'll have to double check the mobile later, but this keeps the text. This helps the text to wrap sooner so that we don't have so many words in one line. And so I think that's really going to help us out. Okay, so I'm going to pull this extra spacing back up, and then we've got some blurbs here that we want to add, and so let's get those started. There are 1, 2, 3, 4. There are 4, so this will be perfect. It'll be 2 rows of 2. So we'll grab our blurb, and later on we might have some icons to be able to use. Might add those later. For now, I'm just going to put something in as a placeholder. And then see, our title's going to go in first. And then this was really kind of a brainstorm, so we may need to do a final edit on this copy here, but we're going to get it. We're just going to put this in here for now. Okay, so I like this way this is coming together, so let's make this light. Okay, so all the text is light there, and then we're going to go to the heading, and this is an H4, which we're not at an H4. This heading up here is a 2, so we got to come back up to a 3, and then we want to see if we can center this. So we'll go to the title text and hit the center button. There we go. And then we'll go back to the text and see if we can center that as well. I think the fonts could definitely be bumped up on both of these. So we'll do the title text. And then the body text. We can change the font size on that as well. And the line height. Okay, so this is roughed in pretty good. We can always come back and reformat it. So I'm going to duplicate this module, and then our goal is to get all our copy in here today, and then we can kind of fine tune both the looks and the verbiage. So the other service he offers is the outdoor sound systems. So we're gonna put that right next to the lighting. So I probably could make sure that these are in all caps. Okay, and then we're going to duplicate this whole row here, and then because we've got 2 more services, he does custom decks. And then the last one, settings, title, is masonry work. And he primarily does this close or around the home next to the decks. Flagstone. A little grammar piece there. Heartwarming is 1 word. Okay, great. A couple little corrections as we go. So definitely don't want to keep this color of this icon, whatever that is. So let's do the image icon. I think I might just go with the gray. Extend. So if we click on the little triple dot, we get another set of options. We can extend the blur styles to this section. So in the drop down, we choose this section, extend. And that changes the colors of the other ones. All right. So the next section we have is some customer reviews. So I'm going to copy that. We don't have pictures for these, but maybe we could come back and add a picture of his work, or see if we can grab a picture from somewhere later. So this is a really long testimonial. But let's see if they'll just fit in there as is. And then we're going to duplicate this row. And we've got a couple more here. We're going to put in one more set of testimonials, so we'll duplicate this section one more time. And we'll go to the gear, and we'll just select all and paste in the other testimonial. So we have an odd number, so I'm going to skip this next to last one and then put in the last one here, just so we have an even number. Okay, now we're definitely not going to use this form on here, so I'm going to delete that. We do have one other section, which is a frequently asked questions section. This will add some volume. So we need to insert a new section here. It's going to be rather complex because we're going to use the accordion. So I don't know about doing any kind of background textures or anything in that section. So I'm just going to do a regular section, and we're definitely going to do 2 columns and make it mobile friendly. The accordion is on top. We can click that one. So we may go with a little lighter color here on the background. Just to kind of give us a break. Now, these titles are usually set to like a accordions are usually set to like a heading 5 or something. Yes, there it is. So we would definitely want to move these up. The previous section, which we didn't change the title of, so we need to go back and change that. We'll just change that to outdoor. Outdoor living experience. And let's make that. So we go to design, heading text. It's an H2, so we'll change that back to default. And make sure our divider color is set to the lighter color. Alright, so we can begin going back down. We're missing a title here, so let's duplicate this one from above. We'll just get the whole row, duplicate this row from the previous section, and then we'll drag it into our new section where the FAQs are. And then, so we're going to have to change our divider here. So we'll go to design, line, and pick the darker color, or just the brown color. I think it looks great. And then we'll update our title. Okay, now we can put in our first frequently asked question. I do want to take away this white background, so we're going to go into the first question there. I think I like the darker color, the darker red better. But this is an open one, so we may want to go to the lighter brown so that we can make the next one that's closed. So we'll go to design and then toggle. Open toggle could be the brown, and the closed toggle will be the dark color. The title text, again, we want that to be, we got to go up to an H3 to make it accessible to follow our scheme. That's set to default, and then we will want to change it. So light and dark is not available on this module. So we'll have to go to the heading text color, title text color, open title text color, and change it to white. I don't think the other color is going to be good enough. And then we'll change our title text color for the open and the closed one to white. And then we also have to change our text color. Well, so it calls it body text color. So we'll change that to white as well. Bump up the fonts on that. So there's the size 18. And we'll open the line height up a little bit more on that. So that's looking pretty good. There's a little white line underneath. I'm not sure where that's coming from. That's something new. And then we have the icons colors. So I think I've got a style that's blocking us to be able to change that color. So we'll have to come back to that little piece there. Okay, so I'm going to save this, and now we can go in and change the text. So here's our first question. Do you install hot tubs? So these are very short question and answers. We'll go to the second one, get the question. So once we got our first two filled, we can duplicate the second one to create our third one. So I've got 3 on the left side so far. I have a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I got about 11 questions, so maybe 6 on each side. So we will duplicate and then edit, put in each question and answer. Alright, so now that we've got, let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5. Do you stain? How long? Deposit. So we need to put in one more. Right, so then we can duplicate this module and put one in the right column. And then we can start over. So we'll go to the gear and we'll edit the first one. So I'm kind of losing track where I'm at. So I just did light fixtures fade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete these other ones at the bottom, so I don't delete one that I just did. So now I'm on the next one, which is deposit, which is on the other side. So we can replace this one. Okay, and that's it. So that's all the content that we have. And then the last section is going to be, really it's just going to be a button. We may keep these social icons, I'm not sure. Just seems like a lot of space. So really we'll want to just add our button here. Alright, and it's an outdoor living consultation. Alright, and we want that to be centered. Boom. We do not want it to say get in touch. We want to say something else here. We'll use our tagline we did before. But let's put that in the bold. See, we did heading through glass, so this could be a 2. I'm just going to hide this whole section at the bottom for now, because I'm not sure I want to use it. And then we can publish. So So we got a couple things to clean up. We want to go set our styles, and then because we can see those taking shape. So we're going to exit the visual builder for now. Okay, so we're going to go over to the nav bar at the top here, and we're going to click on Theme Customizer. So we want to really set the theme controls the way we want it, so that, again, when we build new pages, that we'll have the same fonts be consistent throughout. So let's go adjust the header first. So we've got the header format. That's actually not what we want. This is always kind of tricky. So I think we want to go to layout settings. Okay, theme accent color, we can set that. I don't think we actually use it, but just in case it shows up somewhere, we can change that. Typography. Okay, so now we're under general settings, typography. The body text size, just go ahead and change that to 18. And I think we're using like a 1.8 on the line height. I may have changed some of those locally. Then the header text size is set to 30. We changed a lot of those locally. But I'll change it to 44. Okay, here we are, header font, default theme font. So this is where I want that Gothic font. It starts with a C. Car. May change this later, but this is what I want to use for now. It's really tall, kind of reminds me of the logo. Okay, the body link color, we're going to go with a lighter color. I don't think I have any links in here now. We'll just set that to white. Body text color, I'm going to choose a darker. I've got a gray over here. I want to get probably the darkest color available. I don't think we have any. Text on the background color. So heading text color, so let's use something bold. Most of those are reversed out in white anyway. Okay. Alright, so we can publish those. Alright, we can exit out of typography. Background, we're going to set it to black, just in case there's any areas that might show through or something. Okay, and then we're going to go back out. So I'm looking for let's go to the heading section. Primary menu bar, which we're not using at the moment. Well, we want to find, not using the header elements. It's the fixed. Oh, here it is. I always overlook this. This is the drop down here. There's no arrow or anything, but I just completely overlooked that this is changeable. So under header style, we definitely want to go to a centered. I think I even want to go to a centered inline, and then because most all this navigation will go away. In fact, we'd like for this background to be transparent. Hide navigation until scroll. We don't want to do that. So then on the primary menu bar, I know that the logo is 150 pixels tall. So menu height. Logo max height. So this is kind of tricky because you really want to get you really want to get the logo scaled to exactly the height that you resized it. So looks like we got some extra space here. But that logo is supposed to be 150 pixels tall. So let's set it to 100. Looks like it needs a little adjustment. So if I make it the 150, then it seems to be offset a little bit. We'll leave it there for the moment, but we also have to check our fixed nav, fixed menu height. So we want to make this the same number as the other one. Primary menu background color. Let's publish that. Let's go back to our primary menu bar and change our background color from white to transparent. Now we can see the rest of the picture. The logo is showing up much better. The text color, we're going to make that white. No transparency. And we're going to change the font size to something much larger. Although we're probably going to remove all of those links for now. Alright, so we've got our fonts. We haven't done our buttons yet. We can publish this and oh, we didn't want to exit out. We wanted to go back. Alright, so I'll have to go back in. Theme customizer. So we want to style our buttons. So we're going to go to settings, buttons, button style. We've got this one right here. The text color is white already. The background color set to transparent. I don't know, that color might be, I like for it to be bright. I like for it to really stand out. So maybe it will be. So maybe if we can get rid of this border width and increase the radius. Let's go to 5 at least. Maybe 10. Let's make it 9. Okay, good. Alright, so that stands out. That's nice and clean. We don't use that color a whole lot. We only used it for the little divider. So you can see how it's already styled all the buttons on the page. Because we set them to default, they are all exactly alike, which is what I love. Alright, so now we have a clear and consistent call to action. So let's go back and check our hover style. So the question is, do we want that to change the background color when it's hovered over? It's already this lighter color. We can make it go to white, and that would make it stand out even more when it's hovered on. Border radius, I think we'd set 9. Okay, but so the text is really not light enough. So let's make the text color black, or that definitely pops out. I like the black a lot. Let's try this other dark gray just to see. Can't really see any difference there. Okay, so I'm going to go back to our button style and just see how the darker text color looks. That looks really clean. So this color is not as bright as the white, but it's different, so it stands out. So I really like that. It's a little subdued on this color with the background. It stands out on that one. And the darker color backgrounds, it definitely stands out well. Alright, and then we missed that one right there. We missed that little divider. I'll have to get him. Okay, so we're going to keep it that way. It looks like our logo is not shrinking at the top, so it just kind of looks weird when stuff scrolls behind it because it's transparent. So we're going to go back to General Settings. Let's see, let's go to our header and navigation, fix navigation, hide image. Okay, so it just completely disappears when you scroll down. All right. And there we go. We've got a great start on the design for the site. A lot of tweaking to do with our, with our color palettes and our text, but we've got a great start on this project. We just finished up the first draft of our wireframe for the home page on Viking Outdoor. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll see you in the next episode.